Hey there, Kyle Souza talking to you about Rakkety Tam. It's a Redwall story, and it's one of my favorites. Um, these are all great books, in my opinion, but this one's really cool. It's about a Highland squirrel named Tam, Rakkety Tam in specific, and he's fighting the horde of a wolverine, Gullo, and his basically Gullo's brother has stolen the walking stone, which is the right or the symbol of ruling power in their land of ice and snow. Again, very heavy Scandinavian influence here. And um, you've got this squirrel and his companion, Doogie MacBurl, who basically Scottish, and he's North Englander. That's what it's equivalent to as far as accents are concerned. Of course, we're reading it. These things aren't in England. They're in Mossflower Wood. Um, but back to the story. You've got this vermin horde led by a wolverine. The first time a beast like that has been seen in this part of the world. We have a map here, and we get to see a lot, what would this be, south of Redwall that we don't see in other books. If we wanted to hold it up so that the map was north there, got that. Salamandastron over to the west on the coast. We're used to badgers being the big, imposing animals. And you might have had some animals that came close, a bobcat, or even some of the more hulking foxes. But the wolverines are like badger on steroids, basically how they're presented here. And these, the vermin that are the bad guys, are different than what we see in other vermin. They don't have the same rules of engagement, the same rules of behavior that the vermin that are native to this area tend to have. And so I love the accents, love the way that they're done, I love the story. Tam himself is a good character in that he's a good man, he's a good squirrel, and he does good things and he wants good things. It's a really cool story. That I don't want to spoil the adventure for anybody because this one is an adventure. This one is non-stop. The stories in these books are usually 3 stories that get woven together into 2 stories that get woven together into 1 story, and that's kind of how it builds. Or it might be 2 that branches to 3 that comes back together to 1. That one's less common than the 3-2-1 with it, and so we have the story of a sea otter. We have the story of the squirrels. We have the story of Redwall, and those kind of converge into 2 stories with Salamandastron and Redwall, and then it converges to 1 story. But even that 1 story in this is more broken out than it usually is because we're seeing Euphis. He's a water vole. He's a fanciful character. His side of the story versus the shrews versus the vermin are one of those story strains. The creatures inside of Redwall being protected by the hares. If you've never read a Redwall book and you're like, why is this guy listing off all these animals? These aren't people's last names. They are anthropomorphic animals. Check out the book. It's a really cool book. And as always, I love to pick up these books personally at someplace like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army because they're super cheap and I don't mind them getting a little messed up because they usually are a little messed up. By the time I get on it, like, this cover's not even full all the way to the edge. That, might be a print issue on purpose. Might have been printed that way on purpose, but to me that'd be a problem if I were buying a brand new book. Yeah, there's very little artwork in these books. What's there is just kind of to guide you. And so you see this. This is Rakkety Tam with the sword of Marchin. and it's, it's just to give you an idea of what's happening in these books. It's not an illustrated thing. Let's see if I can find one more good picture for you. We got that one's a kite bird. It might be a kestrel actually, but anyways, he's a goshawk. That's what he is. That's right. Or goshawk. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I don't know how a lot of this stuff is pronounced, to be honest. I started reading this stuff when I was a kid and enjoyed it so much, but I just kind of had to make up how some of this stuff was pronounced because it had a lot of words that I didn't know. And one of the things that the author, Brian Jacks, I think it's pronounced Jacks, does so well is talking or having the creatures talk with accents. You've got what we would recognize as, like I said, English, Scottish. You'd have there's more than one English accent. You've got the Cockney accent. You've got other accents. There's some French influence in there. You've got a lot of different, and of course with the Scandinavian influence, these ones are more Norwegian versus, say, the Scandinavian influence, and Triss seems more Swedish. But it's really cool. Check it out. Thanks. Oh, you can also check out my blog at thetalkinggeek.com.